so our visa, those of you that watch will have known a couple of weeks ago we went back to London, reapplied, and we have been declined. In July 2021, with the increase in travel restrictions caused by Brexit and the pandemic, we decided to buy off-grid land in Portugal to live a more sustainable lifestyle.
Follow along with our journey as we turn our beautiful but derelict land into our very own slice of off-grid heaven. Wildlands.
Welcome back to the Wildlands. So no fancy editing in the video tonight, or not very much, as we're pretty depressed, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep, so our visa, those of you that watch will have known a couple of weeks ago we went back to London, reapplied, and we have been declined.
So then we were allowed to do Audiencia Previa, and we didn't put that in a video because we've only just done it, and then that's come back declined as well. So we are down to our last ditch attempt at getting the visa. At this point, they VFS in London give you 3 options. The first option is you can make a complaint against the issuer of the refusal, which is the Portuguese D7. The second thing you can do is a final appeal, which goes to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, which we actually did this time last year, and it took a whole year and nobody even replied to us. So we don't hold out much hope if we get to do that. And the third thing you can do is take them to court. And if those don't work, that's it.
Yes, I mean in reverse, the third thing, probably quite a logical idea, to get in front of a judge that you can actually speak to, albeit in a court of law, but I don't think we could afford that because it would be probably quite expensive to do that privately and get a solicitor and so on. So we are going to put in a complaint and make an appeal. But as Missy said, don't hold out much hope, particularly on the appeal, as we didn't get any response to our previous appeal last year.
No.
So what's particularly frustrating is, as an analogy, when you go for a job interview, it's obviously fairly subjective because it's usually one person going for the interview sitting across a table from maybe another person or a couple of other people, and then it's whether it's a positive conversation, whether your qualifications perhaps are suitable, how people in the room like you or not. But with a visa, obviously it's not supposed to be subjective, it's supposed to be black and white, very clear-cut, tick box. And
yes.
The problem with our outcome,
they tell you what you need to fulfill, don't they?
Yeah.
They give you a list of documents you need to provide, and they give you a list of things that you need to, criteria that you need to meet. And we met them all, and we provided more than enough documents.
yeah, so one of the things it says you must either have 15,228 euros in a Portuguese bank account, and that amount is for the 3 of us, so 2 adults and our daughter Rosie. And you should have passive income, which might be from a rental property that you rent out, or maybe you're retired and you have a pension, or you could have a remote job, and so on and so on. So we meet all of the criteria, and they say that we don't. So it's like 1 + 1 is not 2 as it should be, but in our case 3, because we've tried to prove, and we've sent tax returns directly from our accountant, what we submitted to the HMRC.
The reason that they gave us for the first time they refused us, this time round, before the Audiencia Previa, was that we couldn't prove that we could live on the land, or we hadn't done, and we hadn't proved that we had sufficient subsistence, which is your money. So then we sent them documents that we'd already sent the first time round about our habitation licence and the building on our land, and that has been classified as urban. So that then was fine after the Audiencia Previa. They haven't mentioned that again. So they've accepted that, but they then said the reason that we've been refused this time round is that we didn't prove that we had sufficient subsistence
or that it was living. Reliable.
Yeah, sufficient or reliable means of subsistence. And that they're basically saying they don't think that our evidence hasn't shown that we have enough to live on, which we do. We've got, I mean, we always say that we're skint, but we still have enough. We've got like 4 or 5 times the amount that they say you need to live on in a year, don't we?
Yeah.
We've got regular income. We've had regular income for 18 years. So we have proved it. We've sent them, we gave them 4 years of tax returns proving our income was more than enough, and a letter from our accountant, who's been our accountant for 12 years, who also certified that our business is real and exists and that we've been running it for 18 years, and how much we were expected a projected income for this year and our actual income for the last 4 years.
So the long and short, because it's all quite boring information, the simple thing is that we do meet the criteria, and it's not just us
And they're saying we don't.
And they're saying we don't when we do. So the last stage is we're now attempting to really simplify what it is that we do, how it is that we make money, and then to substantiate that, as we have done previously with tax returns and statements from our accountant and so on. But you'd think that would be straightforward. You know, if you say you needed 20 grand to live in Portugal and you had 50 grand, then you go, I can live in Portugal. But if then somebody says, well, actually you can't because you don't have enough money, where do you go with that conversation? Because you've already exceeded the requirements.
Yeah, it would be totally fair enough, and it wouldn't be quite so awful if they'd said that we needed to have something that we didn't have. You know, if we were trying to sneak through undetected somehow with something, but we've provided everything. We fulfill all the criteria. We're still getting declined. If we put in the complaint and that goes nowhere, and then we put in our appeal to the minister, which I presume will go the same way as the last one, and we just won't get a reply, then we have to leave Portugal. We have to sell the land.
Yep.
We'd have to sell wildlands and go somewhere else.